We always dream of a white Christmas, to be home for the holidays, to experience a loud and rambunctious gathering with extended family, and a Christmas tree packed with presents. Perhaps this Christmas looks different, with a smaller gathering or none at all, less presents because of financial hardships. This might be the first Christmas Mass watched online. Maybe a loved one is passed on to the Lord, or we feel lonely and distant from those we cherish. Welcome to Christmas 2020. Friends, our perfect portrait of Christmas has been shaped more by Charles Dickens, Christmas movies, and advertising than the reality of that first Christmas in Bethlehem. It wasn't all rosy for Joseph and Mary either. The Roman census meant more taxes. Mary traveled on a donkey while uncomfortably pregnant. She gave birth in a cold cave stable surrounded by animals, and Jesus' triumphant birth was announced not to royalty, but smelly shepherds. St. John wrote, "The light shines in the darkness, and darkness has not overcome it. The true light, which enlightens everyone, was coming into the world." The mystique of Christmas has not faded this year. We just need to know what to look for. We may wonder, where's the Christmas gospel I know with the manger scene? Well, don't worry. St. John is writing a Christmas story also, but from God's perspective. We hear, "In the beginning was the Word," and "the light shines in the darkness." John's gospel begins like Genesis. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth, and let there be light. God's Christmas story is a story of recreation and new possibilities in the midst of chaos. Ever wonder why superheroes like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Iron Man appeal to our human condition? We know deep down that no mere human can fix this mess. We need someone with superhuman abilities. Not a fictional character, but a real super savior that take on our humanness, experience our sufferings and joys, and raise us to a higher way of being. This is why St. John wrote, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us, and we saw his glory." Here's the difference between a superhero and Jesus. Superheroes possess incredible strength and abilities. They fix our external problems and fly away. Jesus started from a position of unimaginable strength and ability as God, then took on the helplessness of a baby. He solved our internal problems and promised to be with us until the end of time. Every superhero has a weakness that their enemies exploit. Jesus has a weakness also that prevents him from saving us: human pride. St. John wrote a sad commentary about our resistance to Christ. He came to what was his own, but his own people did not accept him. He continued with the good news of Christmas. But to those who did accept him, he gave power to become children of God. In other words, St. Athanasius said, our God became what we are, that he might make us what he is. The Word was with God, and the Word is God. It is interesting that Jesus is called the Word. Every word that I speak expresses something about myself, but I cannot never fully express myself in just a word. God can. Christianity came about by God revealing himself to humanity in just one word: Jesus. St. John Paul II wrote, "In Jesus we see the human face of God and the divine face of man." Jesus shows us who we can become. The real tragedy of Christ's arrival at Christmas is that so many don't care. Why? Because God is simply one choice among many. Or is he? We revel in our ability to be masters of all things. Have we not forgotten what John wrote? All things came to be through him, and without him nothing came to be. You see, certain realities are not chosen by us, but rather gifted to us. Think of the artwork and sculptures created by Michelangelo, symphonies composed by Beethoven, or the majesty of Mount Everest. These are not things that we choose, but rather gifts that we inherit. God is still pouring gifts out upon us. For Venerable Archbishop Fulton Sheen wrote, Christmas is not something that has happened. It is something that is happening. What good is it if Jesus were born into our world 100 times, if he cannot find room in our heart? God doesn't force us to love him, but rather proposes. Mary first received her proposal from Joseph. Can I share my life with you? Then she received a proposal from God. Can I share my life through you? God is proposing both of these to us by coming as a helpless baby and not a powerful superhero. The Christ child means our God is approachable, lovable, and like us. Pope Benedict said, God has spoken to us in his Son. God is not a distant hypothesis concerning the world's origin. God takes an interest in us. He loves us. He has entered personally into the reality of our history. He has communicated himself, even to the point of taking on flesh. That means that we can have a very Merry Christmas, even in 2020.